Hi, everybody. My name's Shannon Jenkins with RE/MAX Realty Experts. I am here with broker owner of RE/MAX Realty Experts, Beverly Vidoli, and Peter DaMore from DaMore Law in Burlington. We have a few questions to ask Peter about what's going on in his world, and we'll give you information at the end so that you can reach out if you want to. So, DaMore Law is located at 279 Cambridge Street in Burlington, Mass, and the phone number there is 781-229-7900. So, Peter, how are your closings and transactions evolved since COVID-19 began?
Well, it's definitely been different, and obviously our first concern is safety, and we want to, ensure that not only is our staff safe, but also our clients that we interact with. Real estate conveyancing or real estate attorneys are considered an essential service, so we are open. However, we are keeping access to our building limited, but in order to service our clients, we've come up with another way in order to provide the closings and work with our clients so that they feel safe and comfortable. And what we do is we follow CDC guidelines. All of our attorneys wear gloves and masks when we interact with our clients, and we're doing something called park and fly. And so for our closings, we're having our clients, we have reserved spots outside of our building where our clients, our buyers and our sellers can show up, and we have an attorney come out to them. They don't have to leave their vehicle. We provide the documentation to them so that they can review it and execute it well in our parking lot. And then our attorneys will review all that paperwork, answer their questions, and then bring that paperwork back in, and we finalize the transaction from there. And that seems to be working. It's a different way of doing business, but it's a way to do it safely for both us and our clients.
Right, that's great. And it sounds like you guys at DaMore Law are really on top of the changes and everything. Now, how are your clients liking this, disliking it, feeling about all the changes?
I think they like it. I mean, I've got a lot of good feedback. One, convenience. They don't have to leave their vehicle.
Yeah.
Two, safety. We're always a social distance away. Okay, there's no close contact, so that people feel safe when they're executing their documents, which is the most important thing.
Great.
That's great. And so with the process changing slightly from getting everything signed and then checking things, having some time in the office, now it's really important, even more important, that we get things recorded at the registry so that people who are in between sales can get access to the new property. So how have you been finding the delays at the Registry of Deeds in getting things recorded? How is that working?
That's a good question. And first off, all of the registries are closed for walk-in business. You can't access the Registry of Deeds now. Fortunately, we're able to record our documents electronically in most registries in all of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So once we close, we submit our documents, and the turnaround isn't bad. It's not as quick as it used to be. With that said, there's some registries and some types of documents that we cannot record electronically. Anything that's what's called registered land in Massachusetts. It's a special type of recording where it is has to be, the registry needs the originals and they have to be in hand. So in conjunction with our title insurance companies, we are able to provide what's called gap insurance, gap coverage. So if you buy a property, and as long as you buy your owner's title insurance policy as a buyer, which most buyers do, we're able to close and fund a loan. Okay, keys exchange hand, funds are exchanged, the seller receives their proceeds the same day, even with us not being on record at that point. And if anything comes up, if there was ever a lien or any issue with the title to the property, the title insurance company covers that under the gap coverage.
I think one of the first transactions I had under the new COVID rules, we had to implement the gap insurance, and everything really at the end went very smoothly compared to what it might have been had it not happened before. So that was a great move, and we appreciate the insurance companies doing that. But now let's go into where everybody's talking about the future, and virtual working, virtual transactions are becoming more and more a conversation. And so where do you see or foresee closings going in the future with the virtual way we do things now?
Well, even as we speak, I handle some closing with some lenders that are called hybrid transactions, where they're actually, some of the documents are signed electronically, and then there's a stack of what we call wet signature documents, which have to be signed and notarized in person. I do see it eventually going completely electronic, but I think there's going to be a lot of safeguards to ensure that borrowers are adequately represented by the attorneys, because in Massachusetts, you must be a licensed attorney in order to handle a closing on a purchase, and to provide that paperwork and explain that to a borrower. So I think there'll be safeguards to ensure that that happens, but I do think that eventually we will get to the point where you'll see electronic closings. And
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but just yesterday, the governor enacted the new electronic or remote notary statute, which doesn't allow for some situations that we can execute documents remotely, but it's not like you would think. It's not like a dot loop or DocuSign. It's a pretty detailed process that you have to go through in order to do it, but it is an option, one that might be quarantined or unavailable because of this COVID virus.
So one of the things that I saw in that governor's act is that it's going to involve almost a two-step process where you sign and then you have to be available again to prove that you signed the document. It's not as simple as you said.
Yeah, and it's going to take some time because there's a process for each document that needs to be notarized. There's a protocol that the attorney notary has to follow. It has to be an attorney or a paralegal supervised by the attorney handling the notarization. It has to be via webcam, and it has to be recorded. When the documents are executed, they have to be returned to the attorney. Then the attorney has to initiate a second webcam and go through the documents again and confirm that they are in fact the documents that were executed the first time around.
But looking forward, I'm sure it's going to be a
really simplified process. It's
process once it's figured out.
This is to make sure that we have something in place, which is great. I don't think we'll use it in every case, but if we have a situation where we have a client that is in need of notarization and they have no ability to come to our office, then this will work.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Great. Now, Peter, tell us, is it business as usual at DaMore Law right now?
I call it business as unusual. So we are in business. My paralegals are here. They're working in the office. Like I said, I keep them isolated from the world, and they're working though 9 to 5, maybe even more than 9 to 5. But yeah, with respect to the real estate, there's a lot of refinances right now. Rates are really low, so it's a great time to get out there if you haven't, and check your rate to see if you can possibly refinance. But with respect to purchase transactions, we've modified what we do as times have changed, and with the types of provisions we add to contracts to kind of address the issues that we are dealing with. For instance, with COVID, we have now what's called a COVID addendum, and it provides some more protection to both buyers and sellers in a case where one party can't perform as a result of a COVID-related issue. So that's something that's come about since this all transpired. And another thing that we see that's become an issue are smoke detector certificates. The difficulty of the town offices being closed doesn't allow for the sellers to perform their obligations, one of which is to obtain a smoke detector certificate at closing. So again, we've come up with an addendum that allows, and that along with an order from the governor that allows for smoke detectors to be obtained after closing, we have provisions that we can use so that these transactions can go forward, which is great. And also what it does too, between the COVID and the smoke, is it provides comfort to buyers and sellers who want to purchase or sell in this market. You can do it. It's being done. And we're taking additional precautions and adding provisions to make that happen.
Well, it's
This was
always
great.
changing. It's always changing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was really great. I want to thank Beverly Vidoli at RE/MAX Realty Experts in Burlington, also Peter DaMore at DaMore Law in Burlington. Now, Peter, can you let the viewers know how they could reach out to you and connect with you?
Sure. My office, I have offices in Burlington, Wilmington, Stoneham, Newburyport, and Killington, Vermont. You can reach me at 781-229-7900, or you could just Google us at DaMore-law.com. I always have an attorney on staff, and I have an attorney available on weekends for calls or emails for anything that may come up. And you can always reach us, and I'd be glad to talk to anyone about any legal issue they may have, real estate or otherwise.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. Thank you both.
Sharon. Thank you for emceeing this and doing a great job.
Awesome.
Peter, thank you for taking the time out of what I know is your busy schedule.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
All right, thank you.